So, the other thing we need to talk to the people in the queue. At Launceston, we had people in the queue who didn't know the process, and so we need to constantly tell them, because people are always turning up. So we need to tell them, okay, there's going to be a vehicle here, we're going to ask you to come in. Think about whether you want to go in this vehicle. So with the faux Nissan over there, we go, who wants to go in the red Nissan?
Christopher, organiser extraordinaire, how's it going so far?
So far, so good. I haven't had any major emergencies yet.
Have we had a lot of people through the gate?
It looks like a lot of people.
Now there's a split up between people who bought tickets before they came and people who are actually registering as they come in the door. What's been the breakdown there?
I have no idea. I haven't actually checked on that.
Have you had any comments from people coming in?
No. This is a terrible interview.
Obviously lots of people having rides.
Yes, it's a bit deceptive too. There's a lot of people out and about. There's probably 50 people out on the road at the moment.
50 people actually out on the road in electric cars. Well, it's got to be a good look out there on the road too, hasn't it?
It's fantastic for Hobart.
Matty, tell us about this charger that we're looking at.
This is a Delta 25 kilowatt DC wallbox. As the name indicates and suggests, it's a DC charger, so it uses the CHAdeMO plug standard, which would be applicable for Nissan Leaf Generation 1, Generation 2, or also the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. Apart from the CHAdeMO charging connector, this DC wallbox also has a CCS2 charging gun. So the CCS2 with the two DC connectors at the bottom would be able to charge your Hyundai Ioniq or the Kona, and probably the majority of the European brands that we're about to see in Australia this year.
Now, is this unit regarded as a fast charger?
Oh yes, definitely it's a fast charger, simply because it delivers DC straight to the battery, so it bypasses the onboard charge controller that is part of the vehicle and can deliver the charge straight to the battery, so without any restrictions there.
Henny, you've been talking to people. What are they saying about Electrikhana?
Very impressed, I'm pleased to say. It's nice comments about the organisation, and they're finding it all really interesting and loving the cars, and when can they buy one sort of thing. It's just what we wanted to hear.
So, have they been on rides? Have they said anything to you after they've come out of rides or indeed driving one of the cars?
I haven't had just much chance to talk to people yet. They kind of basically disembark and go straight down again. We told people they can have multiple rides. But everybody I've spoken to, yes, really keen on it. Even that one there, the minivan, they're quite keen on. It's because it's a bit different.
Now, you've been down on the registration desk as well. Are there a lot of people registering today, or are you finding people are coming in with tickets?
No, they've been beautifully organised, already done online, so not many people at all. We've had to register on the spot, so I'm very appreciative of that.
Darren, you've just taken delivery of a brand spanking new scarce as hen's teeth Hyundai Ioniq Elite. What are your first impressions?
Look, very, very impressed with the car. It's very hot here today. I've been running around with the climate control set to 21. I've been out on the highway letting the drivers experience the torque of an electric vehicle. And look, as far as a car goes, I think it'll suit the purposes of a lot of people.
So like a Tesla, it's got pretty good takeoff, has it?
Look, I wouldn't compare it to a Tesla, but certainly it's more than a match for any 4, maybe 6-cylinder car, internal combustion car that's on the market at the moment.
How do you find it as a drive? What about handling and whatever?
Look, I went to the national launch back in December, and we drove up around Brisbane and Mount Glorious, and Hyundai have done a really good job in terms of handling. I know the Australian team, ride and suspension team, have done a bit of work with the car, and it certainly shows. Too often we get these vehicles here in Australia from overseas that nothing's done for our conditions. This time Hyundai have done a pretty good job.
Specifically, what conditions are there in Australia that are so different from overseas?
Not that we drove on any dirt roads, but there are a lot more dirt roads in Australia than there are anywhere else in the world. But we just tend to have different surfaces that we use here in Australia. Certainly coarse chip bitumen, something that's very, very it's not unique to Australia, but there's way more coarse chip bitumen in Australia than anywhere else. We get, because of in certain areas a lot of rain, we get the edges of the roads breaking up. We get poor bases where there might be a clay base under a road and the surface starts to undulate. So yeah, Australian driving conditions are very, very different, and long distances, even though we're still here in Tassie.
Have you had any impression at all in the driving you've done of the vehicle, of the Ioniq, as to how its range compares?
Look, I've done around about 55 k's today around. I've had the climate control on the whole time. The range is still telling me that I've got about 165 k's to go. So the real world range at 230, I think under the conditions we're driving, I think it's almost achievable.
So overall, do you like it?
Oh, look, very, very much so. I do like it. I think that it's the start of hopefully a lot of other mainstream manufacturers bringing in cars which has a total cost of ownership over 5 years comparable to an internal combustion engine. So it's the start of the future.